I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
We welcome you back to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway as we continue on our race weekend here in Nevada. Getting ready for our third race of the season, the second season of the NNSCRA Duracell Ultra Lite Series. Today, it is the Roll the Dice 120 as the drivers coming off the heels of Manassas last week now trying to establish themselves into consistency to get themselves into a playoff spot or try and get a victory to gain positions if they struggled in the first two races. This is kind of now where drivers are able to look back at Daytona, they're able to look back at Manassas, see the performance, and kind of formulate a game plan of what they got to do here for the first half of this regular season, of course, in preparation for that home stretch towards when the playoff field is being put together. They didn't have to worry about planning for the playoffs back in the inaugural season. We didn't have a playoff system. It basically came down to if you were consistent and if you were able to garner a lot of checkered flags, get those valuable bonus points, you were more than likely going to win the championship. This completely changes the strategy on how you look ahead 1, 2, even 3 races in advance, and we'll see who's going to be able to capture that third checkered flag of the season. So far, we've been 2 for 2 in different drivers going to victory lane. Skylar Taylor opening up the season with the win at Daytona, and last week Cole Koibe picking up his first career Light Series win at Manassas. Dave Smith, he has been really good when it comes to qualifying here to start out the season. Rolled off 4th at Daytona, started on the outside of the front row last week at Manassas, and he's on the pole position here today. That's the good news. The bad news is it hasn't necessarily translated into good finishing results at the end of the day. He's got himself coming into this afternoon I believe it's a third place average starting position. However, he's got a 19th place average finishing position as he is 19th in overall points. So he's hoping today to translate the good starting track position into a good finishing position, still searching for his first top 10 of the year. Alongside of him is going to be Sean Galligan. Now Galligan comes into this race currently 10th in the point standings. Struggled last week after he and a few other drivers got trapped behind lap traffic, couldn't keep up with the lead pack, and finished outside of the top 10. So he dropped in the points, but of course has that second place finish, that close photo finish between himself and Skylar Taylor in the season opener at Daytona. So we know this team and we know this car has a lot of speed. Maybe here today he can get his first win of his career. Some other drivers back there in row 2. A couple of Nathans, they're still looking for their first wins in the Duracell Cup Series Lights division. They ran full time, the full season last year. Nathan Stapleton on the inside, Nathan Fogler on the outside. Good starting track position for them. Could they maybe be able to get their first win on the season? And we have to also point out one specific driver here today that I didn't talk about during qualifying yesterday, and that's Roberto Crown Jr. Roberto Crown Jr. has formally taken a checkered flag here at this racetrack. It was back in the Cup Series, Season 5, back when we had 3 drivers per car. He was driving in the number 77 out of Auto Junction Racing and went to victory lane right here for what was his first Cup Series victory. He's in the Light Series race here today. He's got that experience, and I'm sure that memory is still fresh in his mind. We'll see if maybe he can be the first driver to ever win a Cup and Lite Series race here at this 1.5-mile racetrack. But it's time to go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports, and go racing here this afternoon at Las Vegas.
Drivers, start those engines!
Good luck in the pits down there today, guys. Watch your back all day if you're sitting on that wall there. All right, bud, clean that thing up. Get your seatbelts a little tucked. Let's rock and roll, brother.
81 laps of racing here this afternoon. As you take a look on the bottom right of your screen at your 29-car field. A lot of all-star cars here. A lot of Cup Series drivers taking part this afternoon. Hoping to learn something for tomorrow's Cup Series event. Highest starting of those, I do believe, is going to be Anthony McCrory, rolling off from the 12th position. Reggie Fogelman in the 11, Jack Mitchell in the 01, and R.J. Bishop in the 16. All your Cup Series interlopers for this afternoon's Lights race. Chevy and Mazda coming out of turn number 4. Pace car makes the dive onto pit lane. And the roll the dice 120 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway is green. Out of turn 2, already 3 wide, a couple rows deep. Colin Grace in the 27, Roberto Crown Jr. in the 18. Making it 3 wide, and we're going to go 3 wide at the front of the field. Grace continuing to hook that white line, puts Dave Smith in the middle, Galligan way up on the top side. Colin Grace is going to go from 5th to the lead in a matter of 1 lap. Shallow entry, though, into turn 1. You saw the 27 push up the track. That opens the door. Roberto Crown Jr. now will look to the inside for the top position. Jackson Haywood there as well. Now, we were talking about yesterday in qualifying for both Lights and Cup of would we see the ability to pass. I think we're getting the answer right now. I mean, these drivers are not holding back. They were looking 4 wide back there around Cat Batson. Slippery racetrack, not a lot of grip, high speeds being carried into these corners. You got to be careful if you're in a 3 wide formation not to push up into the cars above you. They're racing so close right now. If somebody makes contact, there's going to be a lot of innocent victims caught up. As Roberto Crown Jr., former Cup Series winner here at Las Vegas, out in clean air in front. I think as the tires heat up, grip starts to go away, I think you're going to see those passes on the inside line be fewer and fewer. I think more drivers are going to migrate up to the top side, especially through 1 and 2, as Jack Mitchell and Nathan Stapleton have cleared into 2nd and 3rd. 93 of Jackson Haywood back there may have just barely brushed the wall off of 4. As the battle will be for 2nd place. Stapleton's Ford against Mitchell's Chevrolet rather, chasing the Toyota of Roberto Crown Jr. Mitchell will hang on to the spot for the time being. Juan Garcia, our Daytona pole sitter, now enters into this battle in the 4th position. Chris Dollerton right now, completion of the top 5. Now this race is called the Roll the Dice 120, and it's not for just marketing purposes. These drivers here today, it may come down to pit strategy. If we're able to get ourselves into a nice long green flag run, drivers will be willing to gamble to be able to gain track position, especially depending on the fuel window. If we end up having a pit stop somewhere near the closing stages of this race, drivers may forego tires. They may end up going with 2 tires. They may end up feeling grip is important and maybe give up a little bit of track position to gain it back on 4 fresh Goodyears. You never know. The crew chiefs down there on pit road always constantly thinking, trying to figure out what's the best strategy. And this is going to be one of those strategy type races here. And expect the same in tomorrow's Cup Series race also. We've gotten ourselves strung out single file amongst at least the top 5 or so. Cam Wright Jr. now trying to fend off a challenge from Michael Turner. Both the Michael Norman Motorsports Mustangs looking good here in the early going. Dollarton right now in 4th, Turner in 6th. As they're still 3 wide in the middle of the pack back there. Third place side by side, Dollarton and Stapleton. Saw a little bit of sparks coming up the right rear quarter panel of Mike Tellier that time off of turn 4. Might have just barely brushed the wall. Didn't look like he pounded it, just a little brush. Not going to hurt anything. Still 3 wide back here in the middle of this area. This is back around the 20th position. Autumn Brooks, Kat Batson, Mike Tellier, Jordan Anderson. Our points leader Skylar Taylor's right there as well in the 29. All these drivers trying to get as much track position as they can. Try and break their way up into the top 20. Both of the Bishop Family Racing Ford Mustangs did not have good qualifying efforts. Started in the final 2 spots, and right now they're side by side. Nathan Fogler's back here in the 13. Remember, he started up at the front, as did the car just a couple cars ahead of him there, the 62 of Sean Galligan. Galligan started 2nd, Fogler started 4th, and they're all the way back here at the rear of the field right now. I don't know if that's the case of when we saw the 3 wide going on. They got kicked up to the extreme outside line and faded to the back, couldn't get to the bottom of the racetrack, and now are trying to work their way back forward or what, but maybe they're just hanging out back there too, which isn't necessarily a bad strategy in my opinion. As things getting racy up here just outside of the top 5. Dollarton to the inside of teammate Michael Turner. Nathan Stapleton and Cam Wright Jr. battling for 3rd as Roberta Crown Jr. and Jack Mitchell continue to hold on to 1st and 2nd. Roberta Crown Jr. so far has led all laps but 1. Galligan, the other driver that has led a lap so far here today. Look at the run through the center of the corner that the outside line gets. Mitchell and Turner are able to swing around Cam Wright Jr. Looks like the entry of the corner inside line is strong, except for right there. Michael Turner actually got his left sides down the apron. He lost a ton of grip, but especially off the corner, middle of the corner to the exit, the outside line gets a really, really big run. So it looks like that's why we saw the kind of sense of urgency of the 3 wide all the way through the field in the early going. Drivers realizing that as the tires start to wear down, the grip starts to go away, passing is going to be a lot more difficult. I mean, case in point, watch right here. Cam Wright Jr. looking to the inside of Jack Mitchell. He's there to the left rear, but right there you can see the car gets tight through the center. Starts pushing up the racetrack. He has to bail out of the throttle. Mitchell's able to keep his foot in the throttle, taking the longer way around, and he's able to hang on to the 2nd spot. And Mitchell had thought about going for the lead there. Tried to take the air off of the quarter panel of Roberto Crown Jr. and actually checked himself up in the process. Just how much work are these drivers doing inside their race cars? Let's go on board the JBL Dark Horse Mustang of Nathan Stapleton. Finally making that inside line work. Jack Mitchell has been knocked from the second spot. He's drifted back now to 6th. Cam Wright Jr. and Michael Turner now battling for the runner-up position as they try and continue to reel in the 18 of Roberto Crown Jr. Things look a lot more spread out, though. We do have double wide back all the way through the field, but not the crazy 3 wide we saw in the early going. Even the middle to rear of the field has settled out a bit. As our first side-by-side battle right now is going to be Colin Grace in the 27, looking low on Jack Mitchell. That'd be for 6th. Cody Majoric just behind. And Anthony McCurry right now, the highest running of our, second highest running of our Cup Series interlopers. The highest right now being Jack Mitchell in the 0-1. Mitchell, in his only other start so far here in the Lights back at Daytona, had a top 5 run and having another solid outing here. Field's gotten broken up a little bit back here. There's a gap from Nathan Fogler back to our pole sitter Dave Smith. I'm just kind of trying to eagle eye this group, see if maybe somebody's got some damage on the right side. Maybe somebody brushed the wall, it scrubbed off speed, checked everybody up, and they lost ground. I don't know if they're going to be able to draft back up here or not. I think they can. I think they're still at least somewhat in the draft. A 3-time winner from last season, David Dixon, is actually at the very back of this group. There he is in the DHL Chevrolet Camaro out of Southern Cross Racing. Looks like they've drafted back up to the pack. I think we're all good. So might have been maybe a little scare of somebody brushing the wall and everybody kind of panic lifted, lost a little bit of ground. But it looks like they're all going to be back up here in one big pack once again as we're focused on the 38 of Cole Koibe. After his victory last week at Manassas, he jumped up 13 spots in the standings, 5th in overall points, 13 points out of the points lead. Looking to ride that momentum here this afternoon at Las Vegas, but right now he's mired around the 18th position, kind of boxed in there. Him moving forward is reliant on Chris Dollerton ahead of him moving forward. Mike Tellier, who started shotgun on the field, now right behind him also. He's picked up a number of spots since the green flag dropped. Oh, and we nearly had contact right there. Tellier with a very shallow entry, almost pushed up into the left rear of the 38. At the front, second place, Juan Garcia, working his way up into the top 5. Looking for the runner-up spot on Cam Wright Jr. Colin Grace looking 3 going into turn 1. That's a very shallow entry for the 27. And he paid the price for it. He almost had his left sides down below the white line. There is a huge transition between the apron and the banking of 1 and 2. That does not make the car happy. Cam Wright Jr. has been able to clear it to second place, and now we may end up getting our first challenge of the day for the 18 of Roberto Crown Jr., who has led the last 22 laps. Out in clean air, enjoying the view, Roberto Crown Jr., and of course, as we mentioned too, prior experience at this racetrack. Driving a Cup car in Season 5, en route to his, to this point, only Cup Series victory. He was in a Toyota that year as well. Let's point that out. Same manufacturer that he's driving right now, except that was a Toyota Camry. He's in a Toyota Supra this afternoon, but that was 3 seasons ago, too. He remembers everything, apparently. As soon as he got to the lead, nobody has been able to get beside him. They've been able to get to his back bumper, but they've not been able to get alongside him yet. Jack Mitchell, after dropping back to 6th, has fought his way back up to 3rd. Now, this is a fun battle back here just outside of the top 5. Anthony McCrory, Kyle Langland, Brody Kupski in this mix. Reggie Fogelman. How about RJ Bishop? Rolled off 28th off the grid, and he's now knocking on the door of the top 10. RJ Bishop's first Light Series start of the season. We saw Dylan Young in the Daytona race a couple of weeks ago. where he finished 8th. So RJ trying to give the 16 car back-to-back top 10s in their starts here this year, as he gets a big run and almost into the left rear quarter panel of Kyle Langland there through the entrance of turn 1 into the center of 1 and 2. Michael Turner making some moves here, and I think maybe, never mind, I thought we might be having some drivers coming to pit road, but no, Turner just bailed out of the throttle there through 3 and 4 on that inside line and stacked up Cody Majork and Nathan Stapleton. Saw Juan Garcia and Colin Grace just completely drive around them. Looks like that inside line is absolutely not viable at all now. Cody Majork really out of the throttle there through 1 and 2. Turner, the previous corners, I mean, looks like now, if you've got to run, you probably got to take it somewhere, but there's just no inside line at this point in time. Just stay in line and ride until we end up getting to when you have to come to pit road, which we don't necessarily know what the fuel window is for these drivers. The hope is that maybe they'll be able to make it to somewhere around lap 40. If they can do that, then we know that it's a one-stop race, but we're not 100% certain. We mentioned about this, I believe it was during qualifying yesterday. It was either yesterday or in the Manassas race, where the difference between last season and this season is the speedways. The pit stop frequency has been changed to 1x rather than 2x. So that way pit road does play a factor, but it doesn't play nearly as much of a factor as it did in previous seasons. This is for both lights and cup. So it extends the fuel window a little bit, gives us more long green flag racing on the track, but then we end up getting it broken up a little bit with pit strategy. Let's drop back to the 4th place battle. Colin Grace, Juan Garcia, Michael Turner. Colin Grace actually did make the inside line work there through 1 and 2. So Grace will move into the 4th spot. Jack Mitchell now ahead, looking for 2nd on Cam Wright Jr. Not going to be able to complete that pass here. Out of turn 4, he'll tuck back in line right in front of Colin Grace. Grace with a run, going to try and take it somewhere. Looking up to the outside line of Jack Mitchell. That opens up the door for Michael Turner to look low for 4th place. And doesn't look like either driver are going to be able to complete the move. They'll tuck back in line. Now Juan Garcia shading low on Turner for 5th place. Alberto Crown Jr. completes lap 33 and lap 34 goes on the board. Let's take a look at what's up ahead around the turn, presented by NNSCRA Paint Designs. Tomorrow afternoon, it's the Cup drivers here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Full House 150. Should be a good one with what we've seen here this afternoon. And then next week we pack it up, and we've been flip-flopping. We went West Coast to East Coast, stayed on the East Coast for a week. Now we're back here to the West Coast, and then we head back to the East Coast as we'll be in the Pocono Mountains, the Pocono Raceway. We kick things off on Friday with qualifying for the Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers, and then Saturday the Cup drivers head to the Tricky Triangle for their pole day qualifying. They'll be followed that afternoon by the Lights race, and then the Cup race will follow on Sunday. That's what's coming up around the turn. Pocono, many might not know this, but was actually almost on the chopping block for the schedule this season. But after some testing and whatnot, Pocono has continued to stay on the Duracell Cup Series schedule. It's brought about some exciting fuel strategy finishes, don't get me wrong. The big problem has been that exit out of turn 1 down the Long Pond Straight, there's been a lot of wrecks, a lot of drivers that hit the wall, and so that's why, because of it being, in some ways, in certain areas, a wreck fest, it almost didn't get put on the Duracell Cup Series or Light Series schedule for this season, but it survived, and hopefully it's going to give us some good racing next weekend. Michael Turner and Juan Garcia in a bare-knuckle fight for the 5th position, and Nathan Stapleton has now entered into this conversation. Behind them, you got Three Cup Series drivers nose to tail there. The 55 of Anthony McCrory, the 11 of Reggie Fogelman, and the 16 of Dylan Young, trying to make their way around the 26 of Kyle Langland and the 41 of Brody Kupski. As I'm looking right now at drivers running well in the points with where they are currently, who could really benefit heading into Pocono as potentially the new points leader, you got to look at your current race leader himself, Roberto Crown Jr. He started out the year with one top 10, one top 5, an average finishing position of 8.5. He is fourth in the standings coming into this weekend, 12 points out of the points lead. And right now he is easily putting himself in line for the most laps led this afternoon, which would garner him an extra bonus point. And of course, if he wins this race, that's a lot of points coming his way as well. Some of the drivers that he would be battling to take that points lead would include Ralph Mason, third in points, who right now has scored 16th. Kyle Langland, who is second in points, who's currently just inside the top 10 in ninth. And our points leader, Skylar Taylor, is mired all the way back in 22nd place. So Roberto Crown Jr., if he can close out the deal here today, he could be heading into Pocono, not only the defending winner on the season, but also the new points leader of the Lite Series standings. Cam Wright Jr. will have a good points day as well if he can hang on to a top 5. He came into this race 7th in points, 16 points outside of the top position. And Nathan Stapleton back there in the 97 holding on to 7th place right now. Has been in the top 10 all afternoon. He was 6th in points coming into this afternoon's race. 15 points outside of the points lead, so a few drivers in line for a really good points day. On the flip side, drivers that really need a good run this afternoon after struggles in the first two races. How about that 27 of Colin Grace? Solid outing, good qualifying effort yesterday. Right now, battling for the 4th position with Juan Garcia. Came into this race 17th in the point standings. An average finishing position of 18.5 in the first two events of the season. So, looking really, really good right now. It's Jack Mitchell very slow there on the bottom, stacking them up. Nathan Stapleton and Juan Garcia were passing a couple of cars up there on the top side. Brody Kupski right now holding on to 9th, battling with Reggie Fogelman for that spot. Brody coming into this one 24th in the point standings. That is next to last of the drivers that have run in both races so far this season full time. Of course, remember last week at Manassas, caught up in that wreck on the back straightaway. We thought that maybe, just maybe, that car was going to be up to speed. That was not the case. Brody finished 2 laps down, way down in the finishing results, and subsequently is mired down in the cellar of points. But good run here this afternoon to try and bounce back, gain back some of those points that he's lost in the first 2 events so far on the schedule. Best battling all day has seemed to be for around 2nd, 3rd, 4th position. Roberto Crown Jr. putting on a clinic as he has now led over 40 laps. So he has locked up the most laps led bonus point. Cam Wright Jr., Nathan Stapleton, Jack Mitchell, Colin Grace, Michael Turner, they've been mixing it up back and forth for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th position. Nobody has been able to break away and try and put the pressure on Roberto Crown Jr. Now, the benefit for Roberto Crown Jr. is the fact he's got clean air to the nose. He doesn't have dirty air getting him tight through the center, not allowing him to be able to get back to the throttle on corner exits. That is the big thing. Track position, apparently, and we'll squirrel this away for tomorrow's Cup race. Track position, very, very important in the maneuverability of your race car. So you got to think, looking at some of our drivers that will be starting up at the front of the field tomorrow afternoon, including Daytona 500 winner, 2-time Daytona 500 winner, I should say, Matt Haas, who got the pole position for the Cup race tomorrow afternoon. You got to think that this is something putting a smile on his face, realizing, hey, I got good starting track position. I could probably hang on to it based off what we're seeing here in the Lights race. I should point out, however, that Roberto Crown Jr. didn't start from the pole. He started 5th and passed 4 cars in the span of 4 corners, going from 5th to the race lead on the very first lap of this race. So maybe whoever it was that qualified 5th for the Cup race tomorrow might be the one kind of licking their chops and planning their strategy accordingly. I think our scoring is a little off. I'm pretty sure Roberto Crown Jr. has led every lap so far. For some reason, scoring is showing that Jackson Haywood and Sean Galligan have led a lap. I don't think that's correct. Pretty sure that the entire 48 completed laps have all been led by the 18 car out of Trackhouse Racing. Well, so far this season, we have had a Mazda and a Toyota go to victory lane. The Mazda of Skylar Taylor out of ST Motorsports and the Toyota of Cole Koibe out of Haas Racing. Trackhouse Racing looking to break into victory lane for the first time this season. Same can be said for Southern Cross Racing right behind in the 95 of Cam Wright Jr. And then you've got NS Racing with Nathan Stapleton now completing the podium. May have noticed we have crossed over halfway, so if these drivers cannot make it on fuel, they're going to be making that pit stop in the final half of this race. Which is going to make things very, very interesting. I think the fact that we've gone this long, there's no way anybody's going to go with a 2-tire strategy, as I think we've got some pit stops taking place already. Yep. Ralph Mason, Chris Dollerton, RJ Bishop, Skylar Taylor, David Dixon, Aubrey Powell, Jackson Haywood, Jordan Anderson, all on pit road. Who else is coming down this time? Just about everybody else. Brody Kupski leading them in. Michael Turner, Juan Garcia, Anthony McCurry. So here we go. With about 30 laps remaining. It's like 4 drivers still yet to come to pit lane. Some of our front runners and Roberto Crown Jr., Cam Wright Jr., Nathan Stapleton, and Colin Grace. Roberto Crown Jr. is coming in this lap, as are the other 3 behind him. Skylar Taylor coming back in the 29. I'm pretty sure he was in before. This might be a penalty on the 29 car, our points leader. Let's follow him down pit lane here just to see. Maybe he missed his pit stall. He's pulling into the attention of the crew, and they're going to service him. I wonder if he maybe got boxed out of his pit stall. It's a treacherous pit road, as everybody trying to organize themselves out here. RJ Bishop was one of the first ones on the pit lane. So was Michael Turner, trying to maybe leapfrog drivers on fresh tires. Brody Kupski up ahead there. He's already completed his service. We'll see where he cycles around, because I think he's the one to look at in comparison to the top 4. He's just passed by Colin Grace. He just passed by Nathan Stapleton. And there's the 18 and the 95. I think he's going to pass them both. Brody Kupski, with the short pit strategy, is going to cycle to the lead. What a call. And look at him stacked up behind him there, double and 3 wide. And all of a sudden, Roberto Crown Jr., who led the opening 50-some-odd laps, now finds himself back in traffic and in danger of being shuffled out of the top 5. 3 wide, 2 rows deep from 2nd back to 7th. Jackson Haywood in this mix now. Ralph Mason's up in this group. His teammate Anthony McCrory there as well in the 55. All of a sudden, with that strategy call on pit road, a new cast of characters up here in the lead group as Jackson Haywood looks for the lead to the inside of Brody Kupski. RJ Bishop right there as well in the 16. Kupski trying to get clear going into 3. Haywood still to his left rear quarter panel. We're going to assume everybody's good to make it on fuel now. They all pitted past halfway. It's just a matter of did they get the cars completely full of fuel of where they needed to be able to get to the checkered flag. If they went with a 4-tire stop, I think it's pretty likely that they've all got enough fuel to make it. As Brody Kupski with a nice push there from RJ Bishop's going to get clear for the top position. He'll clear both lanes, but Haywood not to be denied. Nice run there out of 4. Gets back to the left rear on the front straightaway. Field has been completely broken up. We've got 9 drivers up in this lead pack as look at that outside line, get the momentum in the entrance of turn 1. Juan Garcia right now, the last driver in this group in 9th place. 10th is right now Nathan Stapleton, and this group is trying to catch up. Now you guys have already seen what happened to points leader Skylar Taylor on pit road, cursing the NNSCRA split cam, but he is right now a lap down, the only car 1 lap down in the 29th position. I think it's safe to say that unless something drastic happens here in the final stages of this one, we are definitely going to have a new points leader heading into Pocono. Skylar Taylor may not even be in the top 5 in points at the conclusion of this one. Double and 3 wide continuing here in this lead group, which might help that second pack catch up as we had a lead change. RJ Bishop has gone to the point. First laps led today for the driver out of Bishop Family Racing. So far, we've had only full-time Duracell Ultra Light Series drivers go to victory lane. Could RJ Bishop be the first Cup driver to win here in the Light Series? Jackson Haywood says not so fast, as he'll get to the inside here, looking to give KB Racing Enterprises its first win in Light Series competition. And I believe he is clear for the spot. What a difference a pit stop can make, huh? Roberto Crown Jr. looked like the dominant car of the day, and right now he's back there at the tail end of this group in the 7th position. Does he have a car that's strong in traffic? Is going to be the question. We'll see if he can work his way back up to the front. As all of a sudden the Blue Ovals have shown up to play. They are first, second, third with Haywood, Bishop, and Turner. Now a Chevrolet breaks them up as Cam Wright Jr. He'll cross over the nose of Michael Turner and get to the inside of RJ Bishop for second. Going to be 20 laps to go, this time by at Las Vegas. Pit road definitely played its part into this race. Now it's in the hands of the drivers. Some of them have gained track position, some of them have lost track position. They've got to either preserve or get it back. As Haywood clears for the lead, Bishop clears for second, Cam Wright Jr. falls back to third, and now into the clutches of Michael Turner. Keep an eye on the interval back between 9th and 10th. Looks like lap times are similar, maybe a tick quicker for that second group. It was 2.7 seconds last time by. We'll wait for scoring to update to see if there is any increase or decrease in the interval this time by. They've only got a little less than 20 laps to work with, as still waiting on the update there, and it looks like it decreased, but not by much, maybe 100th. Now, if Jordan Anderson, who's leading that second group, can get to the draft there, coming off the 41 of Brody Kupski, that's going to help them out a lot more in reeling in this pack, but we'll keep an eye. We'll continue to keep an eye on the lap times here. Jordan Anderson ran a 29.0. The leader up here ran a 29.1. So I'm surprised that it didn't actually translate to more of a gap closed up than it did. As RJ Bishop just barely led that lap. That would have been a cool photo finish. Trying the inside line here in turn 1 against Jackson Haywood. This inside line has not exactly been the best area. Outside line seems to get a much better run out of turn 2 and on the back straightaway, which we're seeing right here. But Haywood's not clear. Bishop stays to the bottom. Cam Wright Jr. now going to move the 0-2 of Michael Turner up the track, and Anthony McCurry waiting in the wings there in that 55. Ooh, Roberto Crown Jr. with a big move there on Juan Garcia. I think both the 19 and the 18 were down on the apron. And I don't know if Garcia was throwing the block on the 18 or actually trying to make a move on the 55, but the two of those guys, teammates out of Trackhouse Racing, very nearly wrecked each other battling for a spot. Well, Jackson had a good car back at Daytona, led a number of laps in that race. But he has not had the best of a start here to the year. Jackson 13th in points with an average finishing position of 14.5. Still searching for his first top 10 on the year. Strong looking Wix Filters Mustang here this afternoon as he's trying to hold off the Cup Series regular RJ Bishop. Now bear in mind, RJ Bishop and the rest of the Cup Series drivers that are running down here this afternoon in the Lights race, they are not running for points. So if RJ wins this race, he is not in a Lights playoff position. They don't get any points here this afternoon. Obviously, the win will count onto RJ's resume, as it would for any other Cup Series driver, but it would not go towards a playoff position in the Lights series. Doesn't matter at this point, though, as Bishop drops back to the third spot. Roberto Crown Jr. making a charge back up to the lead. Trying to get by RJ Bishop for that final spot on the podium. Haywood with the lead. Turner right now in second. And things looking really good right now for two drivers, that being Roberto Crown Jr. and Ralph Mason, to maybe be the two to battle for who's going to be the points leader heading into Pocono next week. Ralph Mason has started out the year with back-to-back top 10s, and he's right now in the 9th position. If he can close out another top 10 run today, he'll be the only driver to have finished in the top 10 in the first 3 races so far here in Season 2. Michael Turner, nice run on the front straightaway, shows the nose to the bottom, going into turn 1. Made it stick, but can he keep the momentum down the back straightaway? Look at him pull away from the 93, down to that white line, not allowing the 93 the side draft, but couldn't keep it there. Jackson Haywood had too much of a run, too much straightaway speed down the back stretch, and he'll bring us to 10 laps to go here at Las Vegas. Quick reminder once again of what's yet to come here this weekend and heading into next week at Around the Turn. Tomorrow afternoon, it's your Cup Series drivers here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in the Full House 150. 107 laps in that race as battle is on for the lead here. Then we pack up and head to the Pocono Mountains. We'll be in Pennsylvania for qualifying at the Tricky Triangle. Lights drivers will qualify on Friday. Cup drivers qualify on Saturday. 3 Fords mixing it up for the top spot with less than 10 to go. Jackson Haywood in the 93, Michael Turner in the 02, RJ Bishop in the 16, who, remember, started this race from next to last, rolled off the grid in the 28th position. Has been able to work his way up here now to the front with a shot at winning this thing. And don't count out those other drivers back there. McCrory's Mazda, Cam Wright Jr.'s Chevrolet, Juan Garcia's Toyota. I think they might have something to say about this still if these guys up at the front get a little too racy. And that interval has been slowly closing up. The last time we checked in, it was 2.7 seconds. It is now down to 1.7 seconds. Jordan Anderson might be getting a tow off the back of this lead group. Visibly, the gap is closed up. So there's a shot that drivers like Anderson, Stapleton, Grace, Dixon, they could salvage a top 10 run before this event is concluded. Here's a battle for the lead. Turner drives it in deep through 1 and 2. He's got some drafting help from Anthony McCrory down the back straightaway. Can he keep it pinned to the bottom? Little lift there through the center of 3 and 4. But RJ Bishop is not close enough to the 93 to offer any drafting help. This might be what Turner needs to wrestle the lead away from Jackson Haywood. But a big slide there through the edges of turn 1. He kept his foot in it, And Anthony McCurry is going to say, all right, I'll try and go 3 wide. That's going to be a shallow entry for the 55 here into 3 and 4, but can he keep it there? Ooh, you saw the lift. You saw him have to bail out of it. Turner's going to stay to the inside of Jackson Haywood as McCurry tucks back in line. Turner's going to lead this lap, and I think he's clear. He is. Michael Turner is clear for the top position. Here comes that outside line again. Haywood battling back to the right rear quarter panel. He's got a big push from RJ Bishop. Cam Wright Jr. shading 3 wide on Anthony McCurry for the second spot. And that group is caught. Anderson, Stapleton, Colin Grace, they're all up here in this mix now. All battling for the final few spots inside of the top 10 as the battle is on for the lead, continuing here between Turner on the bottom and Haywood on the top. Big slide up the racetrack there for both the 95 and the 55. Haywood clears for the top spot. Turner slams the door on McCurry for second. And what a run there through 3 and 4. Look at the gap that Jackson Haywood was able to open up. This time by 3 laps to go at Las Vegas. Turner clear for second. Battle for third. Cam Wright Jr., Anthony McCurry give it to the 95 on the back straightaway. Turner with a big run, big head of steam. Dives it into turn 3. Has to lift through the center of the corner. Here comes Cam Wright Jr. to the outside for second place. Jackson Haywood just got to hit his marks. Force the drivers behind him to do something different. Don't give up that center corner speed onto the straightaways. Here comes Turner again with another charge. He's got help from Juan Garcia. Can he make it stick this time into 3? Keeps it to the bottom. Slides it up a little. He's edged ahead by half a car length. White flag will be displayed this time by Turner to the bottom. Haywood on the top. Turner, I believe, is clear for the top position. Haywood's going to battle back, though. Tries to get that run through 1 and 2. Not quite to the outside of Michael Turner, though. Can he clear the 19 to make a move into 3? No, he cannot. Michael Turner blocks the top, moves to the bottom. Michael Turner is going to hang on. A great pass to win this afternoon at Las Vegas. The Roll the Dice 120 belongs to Michael Turner, his first win in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. A gutsy move into 3 and 4, kept his foot in it, was able to clear Jackson Haywood, and then kept the dirty air on the double wide behind him, didn't let anybody get a run, and that'll be Michael Norman Motorsports' first win in the Duracell Ultra Lite Series. Michael Turner, who came into this afternoon's race 14th in the points. He got his first top 5 of his career last week at Manassas, and now he'll get his second top 5 and first win of his career this afternoon at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What a move by Michael Turner. Had the confidence in his race car to make that dive into 3. We saw the inside line in 1 and 2, 3 and 4 not really be a viable option, but he knew a win was on the line. He had the confidence to throw it in. It stuck, and Michael Turner is able to best Jackson Haywood in what was a great back and forth battle between those two, both drivers looking for their first win on the season, and Turner is the one that emerges victorious. Juan Garcia going to bring it home in second. RJ Bishop will finish out the podium in third, so keep an eye on him with what he experienced today in tomorrow's Cup race. Jackson Haywood will finish in fourth, and how about Jordan Anderson? Anderson was going to finish, I think, 9th place because he was leading that second group. They kept the faith. They got up to the tail end of the lead group, and Anderson netted himself another 4 positions to get himself a top 5 run. Well done to that 89 team. Anthony McCurry is going to bring it home in 6th, so another driver with a good run that'll be in the Cup race tomorrow. Colin Grace will get 7th, Nathan Stapleton 8th, Roberto Crown Jr., who led the most laps this afternoon, 50 circuits out in front, will have to settle for 9th, and Cam Wright Jr. is going to bring it home in the 10th position. Reggie Vogelman was 11th, Brody Kupski in 12th, Aubrey Powell 13th, David Dixon 14th, Mike Tellier, best finish of the season for him, is he'll get 15th. Ralph Mason, we saw him, looked like he was going to finish in the top 10. He got shuffled back when that second group caught to 16th place. Wes McCoy, Jack Mitchell, and Kyle Langland are going to complete the top, Chris Dollerton actually also going to complete the top 20. Dave Smith, who started on the pole position, faded out to finish in 21st. Cole Coybe, last week's winner, 22nd. Sean Galligan in 23rd. Cody Majorek and Eli Bright completed the top 25. And the rest of the finishers this afternoon were Kat Batson, Autumn Brooks, Nathan Fogler, who finished on the lead lap. Skylar Taylor actually finished 3 laps down in the 29th position here this afternoon due to what we're assuming was a pit road miscue. You guys saw the actually split cam footage. We'll be seeing it post-production here. But a tough break there as Skylar Taylor came into this race the points leader, will certainly not be leaving as the points leader this afternoon. It will be interesting to see who the new points leader will be. I would assume that it will probably be Roberto Crown Jr., but I'm not 100% certain on that because the points are really close together, and Michael Turner's victory going to get him a lot of points. He was, I believe, 25 points out of the points lead, 14th in the standings coming into this one. Did he do enough to get the points lead heading to Pocono next week? We'll have to wait and find out when the standings are calculated. But well done to Michael Turner. Ford gets their first win on the season. So now we've had a Mazda go to victory lane, we've had a Toyota go to victory lane, and we've had a Ford go to victory lane. Chevy is the only manufacturer yet to get a checkered flag. Maybe it'll happen next week at Pocono. But thank you all for tuning into this afternoon's race here from Las Vegas. Wild race, exciting finish. Looking forward to what the Cup race has in store tomorrow afternoon. If you enjoyed today's race, though, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We showed you your full finish results, and you're now looking at your point stands as a result of today's finishes. We will see you guys tomorrow afternoon for the Cup race here from Las Vegas before we pack up and head to Pocono. Until then, though, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, off-flying racing at its best.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.